It's Monday. It's a great day to be alive. I want to thank you for tuning in. This video is going to be a little bit different. Every week I get a lot of different emails or messages, direct messages from individuals asking me, how can I do what you do? I have a passion for speaking. I have a message that I want to get out, but I really don't know where to start. Can you mentor me? And so I want to take a moment to quickly address some of those things. Oftentimes when people contact me, they're not necessarily in a position yet to be mentored or to receive coaching. I do coach individuals and I'll talk about that, but however, not everyone's at that point yet. Usually I like to see people that have done a few things, that have some history under their belt before I coach them or even mentor them. So I want to talk about 4 things really quickly. Like I said earlier, if you want to speak, or you know that there's a passion, you have a passion for speaking, there's a message, there's something that you feel that you have that individuals need to hear. First and foremost, you don't have to wait for a coach. You don't have to wait for a mentor. When I first started speaking, first of all, I struggled in the exact same spot where many of you are, wondering how to get started, wondering, will people want to hear what I have to say? Is it important enough? But here's what I'm going to tell you. First and foremost, start right now and start wherever you are. Oftentimes, I know myself included, I made the mistake of watching other speakers and I thought, you know what, I'm not good enough. But how I delivered my message didn't matter. I needed to start wherever I was at, because my message, the things that I needed to say, was definitely needed to be heard. So start right now. There's no reason why you can't do that, and start wherever you are and don't compare yourself to other people. Just get started. There's a couple ways that you can get started. You can start contacting, if you speak to women, if you speak to young men, if you speak to youth, you can just start calling up organizations, just simply asking how can you get involved as a volunteer. I got started volunteering in high school, working with the young men's group, just kind of testing the water a little bit, but that's what I was passionate about, mentoring and giving back, so that's where it started. So first step, start now wherever you are. Second step is be willing to put in the work. Someone contacted me and I gave this individual a list of things that they kind of needed to do to get started. They had nothing, they hadn't started anywhere yet. They didn't have any videos, they hadn't spoken to anyone. They just had the idea in their mind. But when I gave that individual the list of things that they needed to do to kind of get started, their response is, and this was their response, they said, that sounds like a lot of work. It is a lot of work, but most things that are worth having require a lot of work. People see individuals that are speaking or different athletes, people that are in different positions in their life that do things fairly well, but what they don't see is the work that they put in behind the scenes. They see the finished product. You have to be willing to get up early. You have to be willing to stay up late. You have to be willing to hone your craft. So step 2 is be willing to put the work in. If you're not willing to put the work in, one, your audience doesn't benefit. So you might as well not waste their time. And I only speak about your audience because that should be the main reason why you do this, because it's not about you. Third thing, be willing to invest. Be willing to invest in yourself. Here's what I mean by that. There are a lot of organizations that can help you become a better speaker. You can hire a coach, yes. And the difference between a coach and a mentor, I guess I need to explain that, is oftentimes a mentor is just someone who helps you along for free, no charge. Just kind of helps you out whenever they can. But oftentimes I can tell you a lot of people that are busy like myself, they don't necessarily have that kind of time. So one way that you can invest in yourself is by joining a Toastmasters organization. You pay a monthly or a biannually fee, and you have access to basically everything that it takes to become a better speaker. That's where I started. I didn't like speaking in front of audiences. I didn't like public speaking at all. I hated it. To this day, I still get very nervous. I still sweat. I still have issues with it, although sometimes you really can't tell, but it's because I've worked on it. So join a Toastmasters organization. You can Google it, toastmasters.org, find a club near you and just kind of get started. If you have any questions, you can message me and I can tell you a little bit more about that. And the second way is to hire a coach when you're there. I have speaking clients that I coach, that I help, but they've done a certain amount of things. They're already speaking. They already have the proof that they're willing to put the work in. So that's the first thing. I don't coach everybody. I don't mentor everyone, but be willing to hire a coach. I have a coach that I speak to probably on a weekly basis, someone that I've hired to help me become a better speaker, someone who has programs that I've invested in. So you have to be willing to invest in you. The last step is know what your why is. You have to know why you want to speak, why you want to take a platform. I can tell you a lot of people that contact me after having a conversation with them, I know it's very clear that it's about them. It's about being on a platform, receiving the accolades. That's not why I do it, and that's not the most important reason. Every time I speak, my why is first and foremost, is that I take care and I deliver something to the audience that they can use, that can change their life. But it didn't start there. When I was arrested, I was sat in a courtroom shackled, and the daughter of the victim that I hurt, I went to prison for armed robbery and assault with a deadly weapon. She took the stand to make a victim impact statement. And she was only about 7 or 8 years old, 9 at the most. But she looks at me and she says, "You took my Superman away from me." I was 19 years old, and that young lady had more courage than I had at that time in my life. Because she had the courage to look at me and say, "You hurt me. You hurt my father." So when she said that, "You took my Superman away from me," here's what I understood her to say. At 19 years old, my father was absent, never was around. There wasn't anything more than I wanted at that time than a relationship with my father. I think every child, hopefully, if they have a father who's active in their life, they look up to their father. I had knocked her father off of that pedestal by assaulting him. That really hurt me. I mean, I can't express to you how the impact that had on me. I sat in that courtroom and I said, if I can ever get out of prison, I'm going to do something and I'm going to make a difference. At that time, it wasn't about being paid. It was about just saying, if I get a second chance, I'm going to do something to make a difference for that young lady. Now, I made that promise to her. I didn't say it out loud, but I made a silent promise to her that I would do that. And years after I got out of prison, I struggled with making good on that promise because I was so worried about what people were going to think about me. I was worried about if I had the right skill to do this. But it wasn't about me. I had to remember my why, and I needed to do it because it was a promise that I made that young lady. So I started to, again, volunteering at schools and giving back in that way. But anytime I take the platform, thoughts of my why, they're always right there in the back of my mind. So I'm going to recap this for you real quick. If you're thinking about speaking or you have a passion for speaking, first and foremost, start now. You don't need any special skill other than you just be willing to start now and start wherever you are. Step 2, be willing to put in the work. Step 3, be willing to invest in yourself, whether it's a Toastmasters group or you hire a coach. And the fourth step, and I'll need you to write this down. I need you to write that 4th step down. What's your why? Why do you want to speak? If you find any value in this video, if you know someone who's thinking about speaking or could use this video, please please comment. We can continue the conversation, and definitely share. We'll see you next week.